Hi, if you like this bracelet and want to have it, then stay with me and learn to make it. Welcome to my channel. Here you can learn easy beading techniques and tips to take your craft to designer level. I am Mia, your guide, helping you to upgrade your beading skills. You're welcome. Before we start, let's prepare our 2 needles by threading a longer piece of thread at both ends. And then we prepare our beads, maybe some bicones if you prefer, and then some seed beads. As strange as it may seem, when we start working this bracelet with the right angle weave 2 needle method, we actually start with creating one side for the clasp. For this I am using a split ring or a closed ring, and let's get started. I pick up 4 seed beads, the 11/0 size that I use during the project, and 1 bigger size. This one is a 9/0. If you have a 10/0, an 8/0, they are still good. Why? Because we are going to go with the thread a few times around, and especially if the thread is too thick, we won't be able to actually cross the threads. So here we have 4 seed beads, 1 bigger seed bead, and we cross through the bigger seed bead. Before we cross, we add our jump ring. And now we move this unit towards the middle of the thread, and this unit will help us at the end connect with the clasp. And here we just go around a few times and reinforce it. This way the bracelet will be strong enough when it's going to be worn. So this is our clasp starter. This is our clasp starter. Now let's create our pattern. So for the right needle we are going to use 1 bicone, 1 seed bead, 1 bicone. For the left we use 1 bicone, 1 seed bead, 1 bicone, and we are going to cross the threads through the top seed bead. If you want more details about this technique, I have a special video made on this, and you will find it in the description below or in the card above. Now we pick up the right needle and pick up the sequence on the right side. We pick up the left needle and the sequence for the left, and now we pick up the top seed bead and we are crossing the threads through this seed bead. And here is our first unit. Let's continue with the second unit, and we just prepare the sequence, and we have the right needle, then the left needle, we cross the threads through the top seed bead, and here we have the second unit. For the third unit, if you want to make it with me, we continue with preparing the sequence, and here we have the right. Pick up the beads for the right, drop them to the work, pick up the sequence for the left, drop the beads, and now cross the threads through the top seed bead. And now you continue until you have your desired length. What I want to tell you about the length of the work. So for instance, if you need to make a 6.5 inches bracelet, you have to take into account the length of the clasp and to take that off. So usually the clasp takes about 3/4 of an inch up to 1 inch. So if you need a 6.5, work around 5.5 inches of the bracelet. And then when after you've done 5.5, more or less, you check again, need to make one more unit or not. So here I made a length of a bracelet, and is 5 inches long. And let me check. So I'm checking around my wrist is 6 inches. So if I want to make a bracelet that is snug, let's see if I will have, let's say here at this end, I will have about 1 inch, as you see. So I assume that this is quite a good length for what I need. This means that this is the last seed bead where the beads cross and where I will attach the clasp. This one being the last one, I replace it with the bigger one so I can actually go around and reinforce the clasp. So for this I just take this one off and I thread again my needles. And I cross the last unit through the bigger bead. Now we are ready to finish the work for the clasp, but the work which is done with 2 needles is not stable. So you need to reinforce at least through the last unit with both needles to make sure that the bracelet holds the shape. So before I start adding the final circle for the clasp, this is what I do. So I go around and I make sure the shape is stable. So I've done it once with 1 needle and I do it with the other needle as well. And now we are ready to attach the second part of our clasp. For the second part of the clasp, with one of the needles, we just pick up 4 seed beads. We have 3 and with this one we have 4. We pick up one of the split rings, the continuous ring, and now we go around the last seed bead where the threads crossed and we reinforce. I would suggest at least 3-4 times. And because the bead that I got here is quite generous, I can do this reinforcement with both needles. Okay, and now if we have thread left, we just weave it in the work. And here we have our bracelet. Now let's attach the final clasp. Now to attach the clasp you need your pliers and jump rings and your clasp, the one you want. Here you have a metallic one, here you have the lobster clasp, and here you have a toggle clasp. Is how our bracelet closes. If you want to use a magnetic clasp, you connect with a magnet like this. Also, if you make a bracelet for someone that you don't know the measure, you can use an extender. You can make it adjustable, and for this you have some chain that you attach to the other side of the clasp. And here you have made actually an adjustable bracelet like this. If you use an extender chain for your bracelet, you can further customize it with some charms and something like this, for instance, or butterfly. And it's very easy to do this. You just open a jump ring, you attach it to your charm like this, and to the chain, and then you close it. And here you have your chain, and the bracelet looks like this. There we go. So not only that is pretty with the sparkles, it has a funny charm as well. Thank you for watching. Ciao, ciao.